Hey guys, welcome back to another devlog. Today I've got some not so great news. As you might know if you saw my community post, I've given up on the Backrooms devlog series. I'm just not good enough to make it, and I don't think I can do it, so I apologize. Just kidding, you think I'm giving up that easy? Nah. I originally planned on it, but I thought about it, and I've come this far. I'm just gonna keep going. But I'm gonna have to make some changes. You see, the reason why I lost motivation to, well, keep developing it was there's nothing unique about it. It's the same thing as every other Backrooms game. So what can I make unique about it? Most Backrooms games don't really have in-depth story. So, that's what I'm going to be doing. Also, another thing, instead of using generic Backrooms entities from the wiki, I'm going to be making my own. So, let's get to the video. Now, the first thing I wanted to add or change, I guess, would be the entities. Basically, I didn't really want to use the same generic Backrooms entities that every game has, so I wanted to do something unique. I wanted to make my own entities. Now, I'm pretty good at designing creatures since I've been doing it since I was like 3, ever since I saw a scary monster movie or something like that. But, here's the thing. I don't know how to use Blender, so we're going to have to model it in Roblox Studio using parts from other models I have. So that's what I did. I modeled out this creature and I got some feedback from some of my friends, and they all said it looked pretty good and pretty scary. Next, I was going to have to make completely new animations because the bacteria's original animations were not going to work with a totally new model. So I opened the animation editor and started animating some animations. So I had some really good looking, fully fledged animations ready to go, but I forgot to save them to Roblox. And when I was setting up the AI system, for some reason the animations were deleted from the workspace entirely. I'm not sure how this works, but it's what happened. And I completely lost them. At this point, I was starting to lose hope, but I decided to keep going. Despite losing all my past progress, I persevered through, and I completely reanimated the walk, chase, and idle animations. Then I added a jump scare, and I just added the AI to the model. Once I did that, I basically had my own Backrooms entity that was functioning normally. Once I was done with that, I was basically ready to start the next level. But I felt like something was missing. Couldn't quite put my finger on it, but felt like something just wasn't there. I mean, it was much better than any other Backrooms game I've made, so what was it? Well, I sat down and I thought about it for a minute. What could make my Backrooms game unique from other Backrooms games? Well, a story. Most Backrooms games don't have story because, I mean, it's hard to implement lore and story into a maze of yellow walls and various levels and entities. So most games just don't have story. But I was going to find a way to implement it. So for the next few hours, I wrote down a storyline. A little while later, I had the story completely written out. The story goes a little like this. Basically, there's this company called Biotech. Now, Biotech is kind of a shady company that wants to experiment on new strands of life and organisms that they find. So basically, they capture and take volunteers of a bunch of people and start experimenting on them. Their experiments go too far, however, which causes these people to turn into massive bloodthirsty creatures. Now, they don't have a place to contain these creatures because these creatures are extremely aggressive and are eventually going to break out of their current containment. So, they decide to contain them in giant, enormous, expansive levels, known as, well, the Backrooms. One of the more deadly creatures, however, manages to break free of its containment and out into the facility. this forces all the personnel to evacuate, which causes the place to become abandoned and ruled by all the entities. However, there's one person who wasn't transformed yet because his experiments weren't going to be until after. This character's the main character, Mark Stone. And basically, his goal is to escape the Backrooms, pretty much. So that's the story I had picked out. There's probably a few things I had to tweak, but I was going to have to add some expansions to level 0, and I was going to have to build an entire laboratory. So, without further ado, I got to work. Oh, wait, I'm forgetting. Before I do that, I was going to need a new starter character because it wouldn't make sense for a test subject to have a hazmat suit. So, I threw together this really quick starter character. It's not great, but it'll do for now. Anyways, I implemented that in and it looked fine. I also went ahead and removed the realistic animations because with the sprint stamina script, it just made the run animation look weird. So, once all that was out of the way and finished, it was time for the next thing on my list. The actual storyline before the character enters the Backrooms. See, if I'm building a Backrooms game, I'm gonna have to show how the character actually gets into the Backrooms instead of just throwing you right in like the old one. So, I whipped up this quick laboratory map. It was small, but it'll work for now. And I think it looks alright. I also added this feature where you can read documents about the entities to learn about them, and so you can have a heads up before you actually encounter them. Now, that's all I'm going to be doing in this episode, because this episode was just me fixing up the things that originally made me not want to continue working on this game. But in the next video, I'm going to be adding a ton more entities and a ton more levels, so stay tuned.